June 6, 2025. It's D-Day. D-Day was June 6, 1944. Going down to D.C. behind this engine right here. Train 183, which is kind of a local to Washington, but it should get me there in about 3 hours and 40 minutes. And attend a veterans rally today. As a veteran in the Air Force and Air National Guard, it's something I had to attend. And then my father was still alive and mobile. He was a World War II vet who got a Purple Heart and oak leaf cluster. I'm sure he'd be going with me. So we're just going down for the day. Gonna come back later today on the Acela. And hopefully this engine will get us there in great shape. And we're departing Penn Station, New York on train 183 at 7:25 a.m. And I'm not doing live narration on this. You'll soon find out. I'm in the quiet car.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know this is the quiet car. No loud conversations, no loud phone calls. If you want to be on the phone or talk loud, you can move to a different car. They got 10 cars back empty. Once again, this is the quiet car. You cannot be on the phone, cannot talk loud. If you want to be on the phone...
Yes, sir, mein Commandant. I shall obey.
In the back.
Train 183 is actually the slowest regional train schedule from New York to Washington. 3 hours and 42 minutes. And it also makes quite a few stops along the way, as you will see. Other trains that are regional trains from New York to Washington that make a lot of stops. Train 125, which heads down to Newport News, he makes stops at Newark, Delaware, and Aberdeen, Maryland along the way. And also train 193 stops at Newark, Delaware, and Aberdeen, Maryland. So if you like those high-speed express runs from Wilmington, Delaware to Baltimore, you're not going to get it on those trains. As it is, this train 183 stops at Aberdeen, Maryland. But a real interesting train is train 111. It's an early morning train. It's more like a New Jersey transit train. It stops at Newark, Metro Park, New Brunswick, Princeton Junction, and Trenton along its route. Sheesh. Well, here as we depart Penn Station, you're passing train 190 en route from Philadelphia to Boston. And here we emerge into the warm sunlight of New Jersey as we pass by Bergen Interlocking. And as we near the Secaucus station that we passed through, this is Allied Interlocking. This interlocking here is Erie, like Erie, Pennsylvania. And this is Secaucus. When we pass by Secaucus, we'll pass another interlocking, that being Lac, L-A-C-K. Do you get the Erie and the Lac connection? Erie-Lackawanna, the river that goes underneath, or used to. And the interlocking here is Portal. Soon we'll cross over the Hackensack River on the Portal Drawbridge nightmare. The new Portal Drawbridge is out of sight to the right, but it's really moving right along in the construction. It's going to be something when it's open. This is a train I've ridden on many times up to Boston, train 2150 en route from Washington. And the interlocking we passed here is Swift. I wonder if it's named after that great entertainer Taylor Swift. This is where the connection to the Morristown line of New Jersey Transit begins. Track coming in is coming into the corridor route at Kearney Interlocking. That's the line to Hoboken for New Jersey Transit. And you're looking at the placid waters of the Passaic River. And the PATH trains run alongside this right of way into Newark. That train is going en route from Newark to World Trade Center.
Our next station stop in a few moments. We'll be downtown Newark, New Jersey. All passengers leaving Newark, please use your remaining time to locate any personal items you may have stored in your make permit around the skating area. Make your way to an exit at this time. Downtown Newark, New Jersey will be next.
And the interlocking here is called REA, R-E-A it's spelling. The interlocking here is Dock East. You're looking at the Harrison PATH station. This is the approximate location of the old Pennsylvania Railroad Manhattan Transfer Station. It's where they used to change from steam to DD1 powered electric locomotives to go into Penn Station, New York. That building is the old dock tower as we cross the Passaic River on the dock lift bridge and enter Newark Penn Station, downtown Newark, New Jersey. Track number 3. Newark Penn Station is a fantastic train watching location. If you stand on the platforms between tracks 3 and 4, you can see virtually all of the trains that go in and out of this busy station, except for the PATH trains and the trains that use tracks 1 and A. This end of Newark Penn Station desperately needs demolition. The bridge overhead is the old Jersey Central line into Market Street Station in Newark, New Jersey. That was closed when the Aldine plan went into effect. And this interlocking is Dock West. And I had to have my ticket scanned, and we have now jumped ahead to the 6 Road section west of Elmora Interlocking. We're approaching the Linden Station. Got 6 tracks here, numbered from A, 1, 2, 3, 4, B, going from left to right. There are just too darn many New Jersey Transit trains to be able to identify them effectively. And there's the Linden Station. Shortly after we pass the station, you'll see the remnants of the old General Motors yard in Linden, which was once a very busy facility for the Pennsylvania Railroad. Not much left of it, is there? They used to run a Conrail train out of there called the LMST and an inbound train, the TOMT. In addition to working here, the TOMT ended at the Ford yard in Metuchen. That's what the MT stands for. And right here is the Merck Pharmaceutical Company, where the old North Rahway station used to be. And this is the station at Rahway, New Jersey. West of here is Union Interlocking, where the Perth Amboy and Woodbridge, otherwise known as the New Jersey Transit North Jersey Coastline, drops and goes off to the east. There's the old Union Tower. And down below there's the Perth Amboy and Woodbridge. Heads down to Woodbridge, Perth Amboy, South Amboy, and Bayhead. And where this overpass is the former site of the old Pennsy station of Colonia, New Jersey. And right here, this beautiful trackside park is Merrill Park. At one time it wasn't fenced and you had a really good view of the trains. And this is the approximate site of the former Island Station. It was closed when Metro Park was built.
Flight leaving the train, please watch your step. There will be a flight gap between the train and the station platform. Doors will open on the right-hand side as always. Thank you for riding Amtrak. Have a great day. Metro Park, Island, New Jersey, now arriving. Please watch your step.
And the interlocking here is called Island. We're switching over to track 4 to make our Metro Park stop. And down below is a road you do not want to drive on in the summer, the Garden State Parkway. It's a parking lot to the shore. Well, here's the Metro Park station. And stopped at the station is Amtrak 170 en route from Washington to Boston. And the interlocking here is Menlo. We won't be switching over. We'll be staying on track 4 as we have to stop at Princeton Junction further on. Well, there's Keystone Train 640 en route from Harrisburg to New York. The interlocking here is Lincoln. The station is Metuchen. And there's the old Lincoln Tower. Just a little ways beyond here is the remnants of the old Ford Motor Company yard. Back in Pennsy days and even in Penn Central days that I recall, this yard was a very important facility. Held a lot of auto parts cars. They do dispatch a couple of locals out of here under Conrail Shared Assets. And the station is Edison. There's a train of GE Arrow MUs. They still soldier on, but they're starting to test the new EMUs for New Jersey Transit in their testing facility out west. Here we cross the Raritan River as we enter the city of New Brunswick. This is the home of Rutgers University. New Brunswick Station. Note its Federal Revival style station building. The city has really grown since I was a kid. Lots of skyscrapers around. And you just saw a Cell Express 2152 go by en route from Washington to Boston. Yeah, the buildings are really blossomed here, like in New Rochelle. Skyscrapers almost. Years ago, it was much smaller buildings, and they used to have an alarm bell on Track 1's platform to warn of approaching trains headed for New York. And I remember all the frequent freight trains that went through here with GG1s and E44 electrics. And the interlocking here is county. And we're passing the Jersey Avenue main station, which is out of view on the right. Also at County, the old Millstone branch diverges. That allows New Jersey Transit trains to access their Jersey Avenue station on the branch. here's an Amtrak maintenance away base. You'll notice some old Roar turboliners in blue and white sitting on the side there. They used to run on the Empire Service Corridor. Interlocking here is Adams. Interlocking here is Midway. From here to C.P. Clark, a little ways past Princeton Junction, the Acellas are allowed to travel at 150 miles per hour on tracks 2 and 3.
few moments. Princeton Junction. All passengers leaving in Princeton, please use your remaining time. Locate any personal items you may have stored. Send your remaining compartment to manage seating area. Make your way to an exit at this time. Princeton Junction will be next.
And here we pass by the old Nassau Tower as we slow for our station stop at the railfan popular location of Princeton Junction. This is where you can connect to the Princeton Dinky, the PJ&B, or Princeton Junction and back. Right around this spot is C.P. Clark. This is where the 150 mile an hour zone ends on tracks 2 and 3 heading towards Philadelphia. This is one of the fastest stretches on the New York to Washington corridor, if not the fastest. Trains between New York and Washington back in Pennsy days, the fastest train that I know of was the afternoon Congressional. Made the run typically in 3 hours and 35 minutes with a GG1, and they could do 100 miles an hour. And I think I recall for a brief period in the mid-late 60s, the Pennsy ran the afternoon Congressional with roller-bearing equipped passenger cars and made the run in 3 hours and 20 minutes, making only stops at Newark, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Washington. But it was later slowed to the usual 3 hours and 35 minutes. The fastest trains ever recorded on this line in recent time was the nonstop Acela, which was discontinued prior to the pandemic. Made the nonstop run in 2 hours and 30 minutes. And I checked on that numerous times, and it always kept the schedule. The name trains that the Pennsy ran between New York and Washington were trains like the President, the Judiciary, the Executive, the Legislator, and of course they were the New Haven connecting trains in New York, such as the Colonial, the Senator, the Patriot, and the Overnight Federal. And this is the Hamilton station. And we are passing the old Milham Tower.
Is this taken? Okay, I'll be back here somewhere. Is that seat taken?
Yeah.
What do you want to see? You sit there or do you want to sit? You sit.
And we are nearing Trenton, New Jersey now. The interlocking here is ham, like ham and eggs.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen, our next station stop here. That's a few moments, Trenton, New Jersey. All passengers leaving in Trenton, please use your remaining time. Locate any personal items you may have stored in your main compartment that are anticipating air and make your way to and exit at this time. Trenton, New Jersey will be next.
And there's the old Fair Tower. The interlocking here as we arrive Trenton is fair, like the fairest of the fair.
Ladies and gentlemen, now arriving Trent, New Jersey. Please watch your step when you enter the train. There'll be a flight cabin through the train station platform. Doors will open on the right-hand side as always. Thank you for riding the Amtrak. Have a great day. Trent, New Jersey, now arriving.
Trenton is one of the busiest stations on the corridor, serving Amtrak, New Jersey Transit, and SEPTA, Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, regional rail trains to Philadelphia and beyond. And our next stop will be 30th Street Station, Philadelphia. And here at Fair Interlocking, we'll switch from track 4 to 3. And this is where the old Pennsylvania Railroad Bordentown Secondary diverged off the corridor. We're about to pass under the New Jersey Transit's River Line, a DMU transit operation between Trenton and Camden, New Jersey. Well, here is the Delaware River as we cross from New Jersey to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And this is Amtrak train 642 from Harrisburg to New York as we pass by Morris Interlocking. And at the same time, we pass through beautiful downtown Morrisville, Pennsylvania. Morrisville is the home of a Conrail shared assets yard, and there's also a yard for New Jersey Transit. It's where they store their equipment. And we pass the Morris Tower back there. And the track's raising up. That's the old Pennsylvania Railroad Trenton Cutoff, which was a freight bypass. Bypass Philadelphia. That's the track that the New Jersey Transit trains use to deadhead from Trenton to Morrisville Yard. And we get some good speed here. That body of water you're looking at, contrary to rumor, that's not the Delaware River. That's actually Van Sciver Lake. And passing through our first SEPTA station, this is Levittown, Tullytown, Pennsylvania. And we're about to pass under the Delaware River Bridge, which connects the New Jersey and Pennsylvania turnpikes. It's passing overhead, and shortly after that we pass through Grundy Interlocking. There's the old Grundy Tower. Our tracks are Bristol Yard, served by Conrail shared assets. And this is the SEPTA station at Bristol, Pennsylvania. At one time, there was a Pennsylvania Railroad caboose here that served as a newsstand. Not sure what happened to it. I remember back in Penn Central days, those tracks you see below, there was usually a Pennsylvania Railroad Alco T6 switcher in there. And here there's a switch off of track 1. The interlocking is called CROY, C-R-O-Y. It accesses a running track that Shared Assets uses. And this is the SEPTA station of Croydon, Pennsylvania. And that body of water below is Neshaminy Creek.
Hello. Doing new keratin. That's you? You just got on?
Yes. My son is on this too.
Your son is there somewhere hiding?
I'm right here.
It's all right. I'm going to find him. You're good, young lady. All right.
He's 2 seats ahead.
Hello.
Ooh, what station was that? That was Eddington SEPTA station. If you blink, you'll miss it. And this is the Cornwells Heights SEPTA station. There's a huge parking lot here, and believe it or not, a couple of Keystone Amtrak trains stop here. Train 640 stops here from Harrisburg to New York, and from New York to Harrisburg, 649 and 655 stop here. Those are pretty much the clunker Keystones. And right here is where the former Andalusia station once stood, long gone. Just entered the city of Philadelphia as we passed by the SEPTA Torresdale station. You'll note that we're slowing down. We're going to be actually stopping at Holmes Interlocking by the Holmesburg Junction SEPTA station. Some kind of speed restriction in effect. We'll be crawling as far as Bridesburg before we resume speed again. And there's the Holmesburg Junction SEPTA station. This is the junction with the Bustleton branch on the opposite side as we thread through Holmes Interlocking. And here's the little SEPTA station of Tacony, Tacony. We're moving slowly, but we're moving a lot faster than the traffic on Interstate 95 over there. Huh. That graffiti-laden shed you just saw is the old station of Wissonoming. Boy, I sure would like to live here if I moved to Philadelphia. A lovely scenic spot to rail fan the Northeast Corridor. Make sure you bring some mace with you. And here's the little SEPTA station of Bridesburg.
Our sons didn't know we were gay.
Well, there's a Cell Express 2154 from Washington to Boston. He's not going very fast through here either. And over yonder, you can see Conrail Shared Assets Frankfurt Yard. And the line coming in on the left is the New Jersey Transit Atlantic City line. It's also used by NS and CSX trains to Pavonia Yard in Camden, New Jersey. The interlocking here is Shore, S-H-O-R-E, and this is the site of the old Frankfurt Junction station, long gone. And that was Amtrak Keystone 600 from Harrisburg to New York. And we'll be passing the burnt-out hulk of Shore Tower, there it is, and we're going under the Market Frankfurt Subway Elevated, or the Market Street L. This area, the next mile or so, is in desperate need of massive demolition. You could call this area the poor man's version of the Philadelphia Art Museum. This is not an area you want to be walking around day or night with $100 bills hanging out of your pockets. Here is Clearfield. And right here we pass over North Broad Street. You can see City Hall in Philadelphia downtown a few miles away. This is North Philadelphia Station with, what is that over there? There's the old North Philadelphia Tower. And the interlocking we're going through is Lehigh. This is where SEPTA's Chestnut Hill West line comes in. Incidentally, that far track you see that we've been seeing since shore is used by CSX and NS freight trains to Pavonia Yard in Camden. They come out of Philadelphia and they break away from the CSX main former B&O at Park Junction. And the interlocking here is Mantua. And here we approach the Schuylkill River, where you get a fantastic view of downtown Philadelphia. The bridge you see going from left to right there, that's Girard Avenue. And the G trolley, the former Route 15, goes over that. And then we pass by the Philadelphia Zoo, where Rocky got engaged to Adrian. Right now we're going through Zoo interlocking, and here's where we enter the River Line to head to 30th Street Station. And this is the River Line, so named because there's the Schuylkill River. And across there is Boathouse Row, some really attractive boathouses. There's Amtrak train 172 en route from Washington to Boston. As we approach 30th Street Station in Philadelphia, you can see the gargantuan Philadelphia skyline, and this thread of switches is part of Penn interlocking. And we are now arriving, 30th Street Station, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And there's the former Arsenal Tower as we thread the switches of Arsenal interlocking. Tracks coming down to the West Philadelphia elevated branch. And those auto racks you see on that train coming off the Philadelphia elevated branch is CSX train M218, which runs from Selkirk Yard near Albany, New York, to Greenwich Yard in Philadelphia. His run is almost complete. the interlocking here is Phil, Phil. This is where the SEPTA airport line leaves the Northeast Corridor. And that sorry-looking hulk you just saw was what's left of the old Brill Tower. And here is SEPTA's massive Elmwood Trolley Depot.
Hello, how you doing? Hello, how you doing here?
And this is the SEPTA station of Darby. And this is the SEPTA station at Curtis Park. In just a few miles, you have several SEPTA regional rail stations. And this is the Sharon Hill SEPTA station. And this station is Folcroft. Station is Glenolden. And this station is Norwood. And here's the old stone depot of Prospect Park, Moore. And this is probably the nicest town on the Philadelphia-Wilmington route, Ridley Park. And that little station is Crumlin. And that tower you saw was Baldwin, named after the Baldwin Locomotive Works that existed here in Eddystone, Pennsylvania. And this is the SEPTA station at Eddystone. And this is the Chester Transportation Center Station, another Federal Revival style building similar to New Brunswick. And the bridge you see in the background crossing the Delaware River is the Swedesboro-Chester Bridge, otherwise known as the Commodore Barry Bridge. And that's Amtrak train 112 en route from Washington to New York. A lot of New York-Washington trains have an ACS 64 at each end of the train, including that 114 you just saw. Our train is also designed in this fashion. This allows for quick turnarounds. And the interlocking here is called Hook, as we pass by the SEPTA Regional Rail Station at Marcus Hook. There's Hook Tower in the background. Marcus Hook is in the middle of refinery country and just shy of the Delaware border. As you can tell, this Chester Marcus Hook area is hardly scenic. Chester was famous for shipbuilding at one time, and as I said, Marcus Hook is loaded with oil refineries. And right here we cross the Delaware state line. Delaware is the first state to ratify the Constitution, doing so in 1787. And we just came out of the state which was the second state to ratify the Constitution that same year, Pennsylvania. And here's the recently opened Claymont, Delaware station for SEPTA. And this is the old Claymont, Delaware station, which was replaced by the new. And there's the Delaware River, which we have been pretty much following since Trenton, New Jersey. And the interlocking here is called Holly, where tracks 4, 3, 2, and 1 come down to just tracks 3 and 2. And this is the beginning of the Edgemore branch, which heads down south of the city and rejoins us at Reagan Interlocking past Wilmington. The two tracks in the middle are part of the Edgemore branch, which are pretty much used by Norfolk Southern trains. And you'll see that track 2 rises up to allow the Edgemore branch to duck underneath it. Now the Edgemore branch is on the far end, and we'll be passing by the old bell tower here. Now, we left New Jersey when we crossed the Delaware River outside of Trenton, but even as far down as near Wilmington, you can still see it. New Jersey's right on the other side of the Delaware River there. And we're coming up to the Wilmington Repair Facility. This is where Amtrak repairs their locomotives. And the interlocking here is Landlith.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen, our next station stop just a few moments. Wilmington, Delaware. All passengers leaving.
Ah, that beautiful train there is train 9208 from SEPTA, en route from Newark, Delaware to Temple University. And here's the interlocking of Wine, W-I-N-E. Ah, sweet. We pick up track 1 as we head into Wilmington Station.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now arriving in Wilmington, Delaware. Please watch your step when you exit the train. There's a slight gap between the train station platform. Doors will open on the left-hand side. As always, thank you for riding Amtrak. Have a great day. Wilmington, Delaware, now arriving.
And we are arriving at Wilmington Penn Station. The official name of the station is the Joseph R. Biden Transportation Center. Wilmington is the largest city in Delaware. A lot of corporations have their headquarters here. And this is also the site of the Wilmington River Walk. Very pleasant strolling area. Lots of restaurants. And the nice thing about buying things in Delaware, especially eating in Delaware restaurants, is there is no sales tax. And the interlocking we passed as we left the station platform was Brandy. One of the things I look forward to when riding Amtrak out of Wilmington heading towards D.C. is that 68-mile nonstop dash that we do to Baltimore, which is done in, depending on the train you're on, can be as little as 40 to 45 minutes. But not on this train. We have to stop at Aberdeen, Maryland. Oh boy. Well, it could be worse. We could also stop at Newark, Delaware. The interlocking here is called yard. Years ago, for Wilmington terminating trains on SEPTA, they used to store their equipment in a yard down here.
I bet in 20 minutes it's going to be the cafe. Hello. So I bet in 4 minutes it's the cafe, alright? Alright.
Now that track coming in on the left there is the NS Shell Pot Secondary. That's the other end of what was the Edgemore branch on the other side of Wilmington. It accesses branches south of Wilmington. And this track joins up here at the interlocking called Reagan, R-A-G-A-N.
I'll be coming around to refresh and sanitize the restrooms and collect any trash you may have. Thanks, and thank you for riding the Amtrak.
Now on weekdays, a number of SEPTA trains do continue past Wilmington to Newark, Delaware. There are several trains each way in the morning rush hour and several trains each way in the evening rush hour. There's no weekend service. The station here is Churchman's Crossing. That's a SEPTA station. And the interlocking here where track A comes off of track 1 is Ruthby. And the interlocking here is Davis. This is where the Norfolk Southern Delmarva Secondary comes in. You just saw Davis Tower as we approach the SEPTA and Amtrak station at Newark, Delaware. It's spelled like Newark, New Jersey, but it's pronounced Newark. Don't dare say Newark if you come to this town. And this is what's left of the once powerful Chrysler yard here in Newark. Nothing left of it. And we've just crossed the state line into the state of Maryland. And the interlocking here is called iron, like iron and steel. And we're in the town of Elkton, Maryland. There's the old station right there. Elkton used to be a stop for a Philadelphia to Washington local train. There was talk of extending SEPTA service beyond Newark to Perryville. And in the process, they built a new station here at Elkton. There's also talk of extending MARC service from Perryville to Wilmington. So we'll see what happens there. there's what looks like a Norfolk Southern grain train that could be 44M, which runs out of the Indiana and Ohio Railway in Springfield, Ohio to Delmarva, Delaware. And the interlocking where we lose track 1 here is called Bacon, like bacon and eggs. And this scenic vista near the community of Northeast Maryland is Northeast River. Quite a few scenic vistas in this part of the state. Got this river and several other rivers to cross. And this area here is Charlestown, Maryland. And the interlocking here is called Prince. And we're passing by the Perryville Mark station. We're going through Perryville interlocking, past the old Perryville Tower, and we're about to cross the famous Susquehanna River Bridge. As part of the Biden infrastructure program, this bridge is going to be rebuilt with a brand new span.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen, our next station stop is just a few moments. We'll be Aberdeen, Maryland. Now, passengers leaving us at Aberdeen, please use your remaining time. Locate any personal items you may have stored. Maybe overhead racks around your seating area.
And on the opposite side of the river, you can get a great glimpse of the town of Havre de Grace, Maryland. And depending on the time of day, you can get some great vistas of trains going over this colossal bridge from either any boat launch or dock in town. We're thumping through the interlocking of Grace. And the interlocking here is called Oak. Oops. Yeah. And we're now arriving at the MARC and Amtrak station at Aberdeen, Maryland, home of the Aberdeen Proving Ground and home of baseball star Cal Ripken. There used to be a grade crossing at this location with manually operated gates. Train passing is number 56, the Vermonter, from Washington, D.C. to St. Albans, Vermont. interlocking here where we lose track 1 is Bush, and we're about to cross over the Bush River. The Bush River Bridge has a lift on it that goes up for boat traffic periodically. Goes up about 3 or 4 times a day, and it was up for quite a while later this evening, causing numerous delays. And we're blasting past the Edgewood MARC station. This is one heck of an exhilarating place to watch trains. That was Edgewood Tower, and the interlocking here is Wood. And the interlocking here is Magnolia. And here is the Gunpowder River with train 2162 en route from Washington to Boston. And this is the infamous Gunpowder interlocking, where back in 1987, Ricky Gates took a set of Conrail engines, passed a stop signal here, which allowed an Amtrak train to slam into the engines at 125 miles an hour. Ricky Gates had the speed control whistle muted, and he was high on drugs. And we're passing by the Martin Airport Station. And the interlocking is river. And the interlocking here is Point. You're looking at the north end of Bayview Yard. Interlocking here is Bay. This interlocking in this area is called Canton.
Next, ladies and gentlemen, our next station stop just a few moments, Baltimore Penn Station. All passengers leaving in Baltimore, please use your remaining time. Locate any personal items you may have stored in the overhead compartments throughout the seating area. Baltimore Penn Station will be next.
And the interlocking here is Biddle as we approach Baltimore, and we'll soon pass through the Union tunnels. As we emerge from the Union tunnels, we pass the interlocking of Paul. And this is Amtrak train 182 en route from Washington to New York. And we are arriving in Penn Station, Baltimore, Maryland. Unlike Camden Station downtown, this is quite a ways north of downtown. You can access the light rail not too far away from here. The light rail used to run right out of here, but it's closed for now. Well, arriving Baltimore is train 98, the Silver Meteor from Miami to New York. He's about an hour and a half late. Well, this is Charles Interlocking. Used to be known as B&P Junction for Baltimore and Potomac. That's what this railroad used to be. As we're about to enter the Baltimore tunnels that were built in 1873, a series of tunnels. Well, this is the John Street Tunnel. These tunnels were all built in 1873 and are ancient and troublesome. They're going to build a new tunnel, the Frederick Douglass Tunnel, which will have 4 tracks in it. Will make a horseshoe to go around the right-of-way that these tunnels utilize. Well, this is the Wilson Street Tunnel. These tunnels are on a grade from Penn Station to West Baltimore. They used to have a helper engine stationed at Baltimore Penn Station to assist freight trains through this going down towards D.C. These tunnels are also equipped with a gauntlet track in it to allow freight trains to navigate without tearing chunks of the top of the tunnel out. The Frederick Douglass Tunnel will be a godsend for trains through Baltimore on this line. Construction is set to begin in 2026 and won't be completed until 2035. I'll be 81 years old. Hopefully I can enjoy it. Well, the train passing is 86 from Richmond Main Street to Boston. And the last lengthy tunnel here is the Gilmore Street Tunnel.
It's all right. Nah, she did. Her put the blame on her. Right, I'm sorry.
The interlocking in this area is Fulton.
You got it.
The interlocking here is Bridge. The Frederick Douglass Tunnel should emerge to our left around this area. This is the West Baltimore MARC station. The right-of-way for the new Frederick Douglass Tunnel should begin after Penn Station, right where we enter the John Street Tunnel, and do a curving right-of-way and should end joining up with the existing corridor right here. And this bridge is over Gwynns Falls in the CSX Hanover subdivision, which runs from Baltimore to Hagerstown, Maryland, over a series of Western Maryland lines. And we pass MARC Train 414 en route from Washington to Baltimore Penn Station. And we pass the Halethorpe MARC station. And the interlocking here is Halethorpe. And here we pass under the CSX Capital subdivision, used by CSX freights and MARC trains between Camden Station, Baltimore, and Washington. And we are arriving at BWI Rail Station. That's Baltimore Washington International Airport, otherwise known as Thurgood Marshall International Airport. I should point out that Thurgood Marshall was a civil rights leader and a Supreme Court judge. And Frederick Douglass, where the new Baltimore Tunnel is being named after, was a noted abolitionist. Two great gentlemen. And passing is train 114 from Washington to New York with its typical double-ended ACS 64 consist. This B&P main line, the old Baltimore and Potomac, was combined with the Philadelphia, Wilmington, and Baltimore Railroad between Philadelphia and Washington. It later became the Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Washington Railroad, and later the Pennsylvania Railroad. Now, the B&O had a charter that stated that another railroad couldn't build within a close distance of their right-of-way between Baltimore and Washington. So the powers that be who ran what would be the Pennsylvania Railroad decided to build to the south of Baltimore, away from the B&O, and around the Bowie, Maryland area, curving to the west to head towards Washington, D.C., to get around that stipulation. And I think it worked out pretty well for them, because the B&O route from Baltimore to Washington may be shorter, but the Pennsy route is longer but faster. And in this car we have a nice, kind conductor. A couple of people boarded at BWI with marked tickets to go to Washington. And the conductor lectured them that you have to use an Amtrak ticket to go to Washington on an Amtrak train. But he let it ride. He let them go with their mark tickets. We just passed Amtrak Acela 2108 en route from Washington to New York. And that Acela just overtook MARC Train 416 en route from Washington to Penn Station, Baltimore. And the interlocking here is called Grove. And this is the MARC station at Odenton, Maryland. Right here we are near the Fort Meade Army Base. And one thing I've noticed on public transportation in Maryland, whether it be MARC or the Baltimore Metro or the Baltimore Light Rail system, is they play jazz music over the PA system. So while you're waiting for the train, you're swinging. Decades ago, a major realignment of tracks 2 and 3 were placed through here. You'll note track 1 over there makes a sharp turn to the right, whereas tracks 2 and 3 takes a more gentle, super elevated turn to the right. And this is the MARC station of Bowie State University, Bowie, Maryland. And we're passing through Bowie, Maryland. You can see the old Bowie Tower in the background with the Chessy caboose there. This is Bowie Interlocking, where the Pope's Creek secondary track diverges off, served by Rock Runner trains and coal trains. right there you see Glendale Road. Used to be a grade crossing. Back in the 70s, I used to hang around here with my tape recorder when I was on temporary duty at Fort Meade, and I used to record GG1 trains passing by and E44s and Metroliner trains passing by, sounding their horns. This line between Wilmington and Washington had quite a few grade crossings, but they're all gone now. And in the middle of my spiel there, train 174 passed en route from Newport News to Boston. And this is the MARC station at Seabrook, Maryland.
Gentlemen, our next station is out in a few moments. New Carrollton, Maryland. If you are exiting at New Carrollton, you need to be at the front of the train, guys. All doors will not open in New Carrollton. New Carrollton, Maryland. Once again, to exit in New Carrollton, please be in the first three cars.
And we're nearing the Capital District now. We just passed under the Capital Beltway, which runs around the city of Washington, D.C., as we approach the New Carrollton Station. The interlocking here is Carroll. New Carrollton Station is currently undergoing renovation. They're totally rebuilding the station. Only a small portion of the platform is open right now. Yes, this is the part of the New Carrollton Station where they do the loading and unloading on Amtrak and MARC trains. You'll see what they're doing with the remainder of the platform. It's a mess. Here you can connect with the Washington Metro's Orange Line to head into the city, which is adjacent. Before MARC came into existence years ago, the Pennsylvania Railroad and the Penn Central operated a couple of rush hour locals between Baltimore and Washington, primarily using MP54 cars. They made every one of these stops between Baltimore and Washington. Interlocking here is Landover, in the community of Landover, Maryland. When I think of Landover, Maryland, I think of the Capitol Center where the Washington Capitals used to play, and how they had this horrendous season in 74-75 where they won 8 games and lost a whopping 67. And the tracks going underneath the Metro Orange line, that's the line that the freight trains used to take to go down to Potomac Yard in south of Washington, D.C. And the Orange line is right now going through the community of Cheverly. There's a Cheverly Orange Line station, and there was once a station on the Pennsylvania Railroad that the locals stopped at called Cheverly. And there's the Cheverly Metro station right there. And now we strike away from the Metro and head down through the woods into the District of Columbia. You'll see a river up ahead, the Anacostia River. Once you see that river, we are in the District of Columbia. And there's the Anacostia River, some kind of a nature preserve there with hiking trails. The DC boundary is just before you cross the Anacostia River. Though you can't see it, it's on the right side. We are now paralleling the Mark-Camden line, which comes down from Camden Station in Baltimore. And soon after that, we'll be passing Amtrak's massive Ivy City Yard, where they store Amtrak equipment, locomotives, Mark equipment, and Virginia Railway Express equipment. Well, this is CP Avenue as we enter Washington Terminal trackage, and we're passing under New York Avenue here, which is US Highway 50. And we're now on our final approach to Washington Union Station as we negotiate the tracks of the Washington Terminal Company. Thanks to our double-ended consist, we have the luxury of going into a stub-end track at Washington Union Station. This will allow us for a quick turnaround. Had we just had an engine on one end, we'd have to go to the lower level platforms, and in order for the engine to get free, it would have to detach from the train and run out onto the station platform or back to Ivy City.
This is the final stop, Washington, D.C. Union Station. All passengers leaving in Washington, please use your remaining dock to locate any personal items you may have stored. They do making 1% around your seating area, Washington, D.C. Union Station. Final stop coming up.
Well, we're now at the letter K interlocking. This is where the upper level and lower level tracks separate as we enter Washington Union Station. You'll clearly be able to see the lower level tracks on our left. The lower level tracks are used by trains with one locomotive on it only, and the plethora of southern trains use it. There are lots of engine changes here, as there are many trains that go to and from points in Virginia, such as Richmond, Roanoke, Newport News, Norfolk, to say nothing of the Floridian from Chicago to Florida, and the Silver Meteor from New York to Miami, and the Crescent from New York to New Orleans, and the Cardinal from New York to Chicago via the old C&O route. And did I forget all the Virginia Railway Express trains that use it to go to Broad Run Airport and Spotsylvania? Well, after a ride down from New York on train 183, the regional clunker, considering how many stops it made along the way, we still got here in 2 minutes ahead of schedule at 11:05. 3 hour and 40-minute running time. Considering all the stops we had to make and a few delays we encountered, pretty darn good. Mission accomplished. Welcome to Washington, D.C.